Good evening. Let us begin at the point where our instincts usually betray us. In a crisis, the tongue leaps forward, explanations rush in, reassurances tumble out as if syllables could mend a bone or reverse a storm. But words, my friends, words are only auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. Do you see how quickly we begin performing comfort instead of being comfort? The more we talk, the more pressure we put upon a heart already bearing enough. The one who is hurting is not hungry for our theology, nor thirsty for our vocabulary. They crave the cool shade of presence. My conversation is usually limited to, I will help you, 4 words if you count them, but inwardly it is only 2. I will help you, nothing more. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, the Master said. Do you follow that? Yes is enough when the Spirit fills the yes. No is enough when God stands behind the no. In the hour of someone's breaking, the holy occupation is not to persuade, not to fix, not to explain God to God's own child, but to be a presence of Sabbath in the din. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Not in talk, in quietness. We will go very plainly in these hours together. I will give you exact phrases to avoid, for there are truth statements that wound the wounded. We will learn the few words that stabilize without preaching, and beyond words, we will take up the only instrument that heals without display, a cultivated inner consciousness, a way of standing by so that help is immediate, not theatrical, steady, not dramatic. We are not here to become spiritual actors. We are here to become a transparency through which God may be God. Consider how fear behaves when we start explaining. We say, it will be all right, and fear says, on what authority? We say, there are no accidents, and grief hears. Then I am to blame. We cram the room with our syllables, and the soul finds no chair to sit upon. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. When you are still, you provide the other with a place to know. Do you see? This minimalist stance is not neglect, it is discipline. When I say I will help you, I am not postponing action, I am refusing exhibition. I am announcing presence. I am assuring, I am here and I shall remain here, and something greater than my cleverness is here. Then inwardly I turn. I do not turn to sentences. I turn to knowing. We will speak of that knowing in detail, for it must be learned like any craft, like any prayer that ceases to be babble and becomes breath. Comfort ye, my people, says the prophet. But comfort is a climate, not a lecture. If your words tighten the air, you have missed the way. If your silence loosens fear, you have found it. We shall measure it by fruitage, by your life experience, by the results. But first, see this. Your urge to fix is often your fear performing. Drop it, stand, look into no one's eyes as if they were a problem to be solved. Look as if you were beholding what the Father beholds. We will come to that sentence, this is my beloved Son, in its place. For now, learn this. The first help is presence, the first promise is simple, and the first sentence is enough. I will help you, then let us be quiet together. Do you see how in that climate the heartbeat slows? Do you notice how the mind's demand for answers grows drowsy and sits down? This is the threshold of true aid. From here we will refine language that does not preach and a practice that does not perform. For tonight, take this into your marrow. In crisis, fewer words, deeper roots. Stand present. Let God be the eloquence. Let us stay with these 4 words until they become substance. I will help you. Why does it work? Because it is safety without argument. It is support without sermon. It offers a hand without demanding a theology to hold on to it. It removes from the broken one the last unbearable task, the need to defend their pain against your ideas. Do you see that? When you say, I will help you, you are not contradicting their tears. You are not explaining their storm. You are opening a door, and you are saying, you may walk through this without me examining your reasons. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay. Nay, the Master counseled. This is a clean yes, nothing else. I will help you is not optimism. It is not, it will be fine, which too often throws a blanket over a fire and then wonders why the room keeps filling with smoke. Optimism asks for a forecast and then tries to feel its way into the weather. Spiritual assurance announces presence now. Fear not, for I am with thee, says the prophet. The witness is the help. It is companionship offered without purchase price, without requiring belief, without creating an examination in doctrine. Lo, I am with you always is not a pep talk. It is presence stating itself. When you adopt these words, you are not trying to talk someone into faith. You are stepping into that witness and saying, I will be the stillness by you while you breathe. No argument, no contest, no selling, only witness. And notice what this sentence does to you, the would-be helper. Your own panic, your own urge to fix, to talk, to impress, this sentence halts it. It gives you a place to stand. Having said the least that is true and merciful, you can turn inwardly. You turn to the altar not made with hands. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and quote it. Be still and know it. The instant you say, I will help you, the outer work of speech is complete. Now the real work begins. Standing by in consciousness, entering the quiet, refusing the mind's demand to perform, and letting the presence of God appear as individual being. We will name that later by its two governing words, do you remember? But for now, see that your outer minimalism grants you inner room to realize. Words are auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. Having spoken rightly once, close the mouth and open the ear. I have watched a sobbing friend at midnight, the body shaking as if it were an argument. The old impulse rose, say something wise, patch the night with syllables. Instead, I will help you. Then a chair drawn closer, a glass of water, a light lowered, a hand held, and within a turning to the kingdom, not observable with eyes, nothing asked of them, no belief demanded, only quiet presence while the inner knowing ripens. After a while, the breathing changes. The room, which had been filled with edges, rounds out fruitage. Even in the first minutes, a measure of peace returned, fear slightly starved by lack of conversation. Do you follow that? When we say, I will help you, we lay down the cudgel of explanation. We stop requiring the other to carry our doctrine like a sack of bricks on an already burdened back. We cease furnishing phrases that make the wounded apologize for bleeding. We choose instead the law of Christ. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. How do we bear them? By not adding to them. By not making them defend their sorrow in a courtroom of our making. By being a shelter into which the rain can fall without cross-examination. This is the discipline. Outwardly few words. Inwardly deep work. Outwardly a faithful yes. Inwardly the silent realization of is not trying to manufacture harmony, but acknowledging it. You will learn to let that isness do the speaking. Until then, keep the lips consecrated to that one sentence, I will help you. Then, in the sanctuary of your own consciousness, let God be the eloquence, and you will know you have done rightly, not because you have spoken beautifully, but because peace begins to show itself by your life experience, by the fruitage. You see? Now we must be plain about what not to say. In the raw hour of someone's breaking, there are phrases we have learned in classrooms and books that turn into stones when thrown at a trembling heart. There are no accidents. You created this. God has a plan. Just be positive. Everything happens for a reason. Do you see what these do? They ask the one who is bleeding to climb into our metaphysics while their hands are still slippery with pain. They demand they stand up and carry our doctrine when their knees have given way. It is hidden violence to require a theology exam at the door of the emergency room. When a person sobs, "I can't bear it," and you answer, "There are no accidents in divine mind. You have not lifted them. You have added a weight." When a mother shakes and someone intones, "You created this," a subtle lash falls across an already wounded back. When a friend gasps with fear and we say, "Just be positive," we are telling them to counterfeit a light they cannot yet see. God has a plan, and everything happens for a reason may sound reverent to the speaker, but to the listener it often sounds like, "Submit to what I cannot explain." Do you follow that? These sentences force the soul to carry an argument it did not ask for. They convert comfort into competition. My belief against your pain. I speak with candor, even as a practiced student. If in the moment of my own distress someone comes and preaches truth at me, I resent it. I do. Not because truth is unwelcome, but because truth is not a speech. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, is the description of the Christly ministry. When we push our phrases onto a bruised reed, we break it. Be swift to hear, slow to speak, says the apostle. Slow to speak. Words are only auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. Never make someone in pain carry your doctrine. Take it off them. Remove the burden of explanation and become a quiet place to rest. Replace the lecture with presence. Replace the proof text with a glass of water, a blanket, a ride, a seat by the window where the air can move. Replace the metaphysical autopsy with one sentence, "I will help you," and then let your lips be still while your heart listens. Weep with them that weep. That is Scripture. To weep with does not mean to drown with. It means to be with without argument, to be the shore upon which their wave can break and find shape again. What do you say then? Say only what steadies. I am here. Take my hand. We will be quiet for a moment. Breathe. I've got you. Short, human, merciful words that do not ask the other to become your student while they are trying to remain upright, and while you are saying almost nothing, do the real work where words cannot trespass. Inwardly, turn to the is. Do not attempt to manufacture peace. Realize it. Peace is. Life is. Love is. Not as a recital to the other, but as a silent atmosphere you are consenting to host. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and tell about God. Be still and know. If you must choose between a brilliant explanation and a steady hand, choose the hand. If you must choose between a theology that blames and a chair quietly placed behind trembling knees, place the chair. Watch the fruitage. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know if you are helping or merely performing. If your sentences make the shoulders tighten, you have missed. If your stillness loosens the breath and the eyes soften, you have found the narrow way. By their fruits ye shall know them. This restraint is not weakness. It is discipline. The mind will itch to justify, to interpret, to wrap the mystery with ribbon. Drop it. Do the few practical things that prevent harm. Keep the companionship warm and simple. Let your prayer be without display, presence within presence. Let God be the eloquence. Then, when the storm has quieted a little, the soul may be ready for teaching, but not now, not in the hour of rawness. Now your calling is to build a little sanctuary of silence and mercy, where the bruised reed is not broken and the smoking flax is not quenched until the ember glows again of itself. Do you see? The infinite way is built around a few words. The first of these words is as the meaning is not complicated. God is manifest as individual being. God, the invisible, appears as the Son, the visible. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father, said the Master. And again, I and the Father are one. Do you see? This is not mere poetry. It is the recognition that identity is divine in its source and expression. When you stand by one who is trembling and you say inwardly, God appears as this very one, you have removed the battlefield of me trying to help you and entered the sanctuary of beholding. You are not crossing a gap to bring God to a person. You are acknowledging God as personhood, God individualized. Help is not you versus their condition. Help is the recognition of God as the life, as the mind, as the being that is before you. The second word is. This is the cornerstone of your practice. Is means present, completeness, present harmony, present life. You are never trying to produce health or create peace or assemble supply like a mechanic with parts. You are realizing what already is spiritually true. The kingdom of God is within you. Within, not later. Is, not will be. Before Abraham was, I am. Do you follow that? If you are trying to fix, you are in time. If you are realizing, you are in is. And in is, there is no strain. For you are not attempting to bend law, you are consenting to law. Here is the practicality. You are not trying to make 2 times 2 become 4. It is not a project. You are realizing 2 times 2 is 4. It is a fact you relax into. There is no pleading, no intensity, no bargaining. You stand in the peace of what is, and then you act in that peace. This is the shift that moves you out of emotional performance into quiet authority. Harmony is, life is, love is, omnipresence is. I am. Remind yourself of this, not as recital, but as recognition. Let the mind sit down in that chair. Now take these together. As gives you right identity. Is gives you right tense. As, God appearing as the individual before you, as me. Is the ever-presence of the divine order now. This pair removes the dualism that makes you struggle. You are no longer picturing a suffering person over here and a distant God over there. You are beholding the one presence, the one life, showing forth as this beloved. And you are resting in the already of God. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Not the Father summoned, not the Father persuaded, the Father that dwelleth is. Notice what happens to your impulse to preach when you accept as and is. It dissolves. There is nothing to sell. There is only something to behold and something to know. Outwardly, you remain minimal. I will help you. Inwardly, you turn. Father, I acknowledge your appearing as this one. I rest in what is. That is prayer. Not words climbing to heaven, but consent to heaven present. Lo, I am with you always. Becomes not a text, but a climate. Do you follow that? Someone will ask, but what of the appearance, the sobbing, the diagnosis, the debt? That is for other hours in which we will speak of depersonalizing error. For now, see this. Any appearance, however noisy, does not alter identity or nullify isness. You are not denying the cry, you are denying it authority. You are not blind to the storm, you are unhypnotized by it. You stand as and in is, and then you give the glass of water, you dial the number, you open the window, you sit silently, and you let the inner knowing govern the outer deed. This is why help becomes fast under this yoke of two words, fast, because there is nothing to build, only to behold. Fast, because there is nothing to argue, only to acknowledge. Fast, because you have stepped out of performing comfort and into the presence that comforts of itself, and you will know that this is not theory by what follows, a settling in the room, a loosening of breath, a right action occurring almost without discussion. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will be instructed that as and is are not slogans, they are keys. Keep them near. Whisper them inwardly until they become your native air, God appearing as God eternally is. Do you see? The next temptation, and it is a loud one, is the anxious helper reflex. The body rises, the tongue races, the brain manufactures vows it cannot keep. We overtalk, we overpromise, we overanalyze. We rush to rescue not because spirit is hurrying us, but because our own discomfort is shouting, do something so I don't have to feel this. Do you see that? Much of what we call help is the nervous system trying to silence its own fear. That is why so often more motion brings less mercy. Striving leaks panic into the room. He shall not strive nor cry, the prophet said of the Christly nature. The inner work begins when we refuse to strive. Stand by in consciousness. That is our phrase. Stand by, not absent, not idle, not frozen, but steady, receptive, unhurried. Let your calm be the first medicine. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. When you stand by, you are saying without drama, I will help you, and I will not add my fear to your fear. You become a Sabbath in the storm. You listen within for the presence that does the work. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Not the Father I summon by frenzy, not the Father I convince by eloquence, the Father that dwelleth is. Do you follow that? From this stance there is a split action, both simple and exact. Outwardly, you attend to the human moment. The call must be placed, the water brought, the chair offered, the breath guided. Do the next clear thing. No speeches, no explanations. I am here, take my hand. That is sufficient speech. Inwardly, refuse panic. Refuse the mind's demand to predict outcomes or assign blame. Turn instead to recognition, not recital. Harmony is. Life is. Love is. Omnipresence is. You are not chanting to persuade a reluctant universe. You are consenting to what already is. You are placing your awareness back into isness, where help is inevitable because God is being God. I have stood in a doorway at 2 a.m. while a young man slid down the wall, white-faced with terror. The old habit was there, itching to advise, to dissect the fear, to hurry him into an idea. Instead, I will help you. The phone was dialed, a window opened for air, a glass filled and placed in his hand. Breathe with me. Outwardly, nothing grand. Inwardly, quiet recognition, Father, thou art here as this one, peace is, life is. In that atmosphere, the room changed temperament. The edges softened. His breath found him again. Fruitage told the tale, not my words, by your life experience. By the fruitage, you will know whether you have stood by or performed. To stand by in consciousness does not mean to withdraw from action. It means that action proceeds from presence rather than from fear. You will notice a new order. The right call is made without dithering. The needed phrase arises without rehearsal. The hand knows when to hold and when to release. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Not as the world gives with noise and bravado, but as Spirit gives, quietly, effectively, without strain. Guard your interior doorway. Let no image of catastrophe take the throne. I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God, says the psalmist. Be the doorkeeper. Admit only what is consonant with isness. When the mind throws up pictures, the worst that could happen, the tale of fault, drop them as you would a hot coal. Return to the simple refrain that is not a project but a seeing. Harmony is, life is, love is, omnipresence is. Then do the next human kindness. Then be still again. Then act again. This rhythm, presence within, simplicity without, keeps you from the intoxication of urgency and anchors you in the only agency that heals. You will be tempted to hurry, to raise your voice, to cover the moment with a blanket of phrases so that your nerves are spared. Resist that. Resist not evil, but resist the urge to perform. Stand by. Often in that standing, you will feel a subtle settling like a lake quieting after a stone. That is your sign. From there, proceed. And when the mind asks, am I doing enough? Answer it with the order of heaven. The Father that dwelleth is doing the works, and I am consenting. This is the quickest aid, a steady consciousness, outwardly practical, inwardly anchored in isness. Do you see? Let us take the next step, and it is the step that unties the knot. Error, whatever its mask, fear, symptom, disaster, is not a person, not a law, not a power. It is the hypnotic suggestion of two powers. It is the serpent whisper that there is God and something else. The moment you personalize it, my fear, her disease, their malice, you fasten it to a someone and a something, and then you must wrestle a phantom as if it had muscle. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment refuses the mask its authority. You see? I often use a simple picture. You walk at dusk and see a coil across the path. The heart jolts, snake. You leap back, sweat springs, breath shortens. Then a light is lifted, and there it is, a rope. The fear was real enough in sensation, but there never was a snake to conquer. No battle was necessary, only recognition. That is the nature of error. Rope feared as snake, the non-existent white poodle seen at the curb, the streetcar tracks seeming to meet at the horizon. Error thrives on misseeing. When you fight it as a something, you promote it. When you behold it as misperception, you deprive it of breath. This is only the arm of flesh, said the old Hebrews. Only appearance, only nothingness. Why does personalizing block help? Because when you blame a person, you harden them into the role of opponent, and resistance rises on both sides. When you fight a condition as law, you kneel to a second power and grant it jurisdiction. In either case, you have left is and entered struggle. You have said, in effect, there is God, and there is also a rival. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The first command is not a moral scold, it is a spiritual physics. If God is omnipresence, what rival can share the stage? If omnipotence is, what second will you arm to oppose it? Do you follow that? So here is your practical instruction at the first contact with a call for help. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it and return to the realization of God appearing as. Drop it. Do not take into your meditation the name of a disease, the history of a trauma, the face of an offender. If such pictures intrude, let them pass as you would a stranger at the window. Turn swiftly and simply. Father, I acknowledge thy appearing as this one. I rest in what is. Harmony is. Life is. Love is. You are not trying to fix a someone. You are beholding the one as this someone. That is different. That is relief. Scripture teaches us to depersonalize. When they asked, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? The Master said, neither, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. Not a person to blame, not a story to dissect, a misseeing to be dispelled, and God to be revealed as the very being at hand. Again, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, not a person, not flesh and blood. The contest is with suggestion, with belief, with the ghost of two powers. And the remedy is not combat, but light. Let there be light. When light is, rope is rope, and the heart is free. I recall a woman who came at dawn, face tight with a name she had been given the day before. The mind wanted to research, to debate outcomes, to argue probabilities. Instead, I will help you. Then inwardly, immediate impersonalization. Not a name, not a sentence, not a power. Father, thou art the life that is appearing as this daughter. Life is, love is. We sat in quiet. Outwardly, we arranged the next sensible appointment and a warm breakfast. Inwardly, no opponent, no second law only is, within a short while the shaking eased. Sleep, which had eluded her, took her for 2 solid hours. Fruitage. By your life experience, by the fruitage you will know if you have taken the someone and something out of the storm. Do not confuse depersonalization with indifference. You will still do the human kindness. You will still listen, arrange, accompany, but within you will not make a god of the storm. You will not chase the snake with a stick when light will do. Perfect love casteth out fear, not because it overpowers a rival, but because in the presence of one there is no second to fear. The instant you stop arguing with a person or a condition and stand in as and is, fear begins to loosen its grip and help can act without friction. This is swift work when practiced. This is gentle work when understood. Drop the someone, drop the something, and behold the one. Do you see? Now let us put this into motion real time. When the room is full and the clock is loud. Fast help is a threefold action. First, presence. Then, practicality. All the while, silent realization. Be present. Do what's needed and know without display. If you remember nothing else, remember that order. It keeps you out of performance and places you into service. Do you see? Tier 1 presence. Let your body and voice become a harbor. Quiet tone, steady eye contact, slow breath. Your first words are few and merciful. I'm here. I will help you. Nothing more is required at the opening. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. This is your yea. Then do something very simple that bodies understand. Sit or kneel to their level. Do not tower. Offer a hand, palm open, no pressure. Mirror a slower breath, not a command, a companionship. The soul notices when a calm neighbor arrives. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and preach. Be still and be. Presence means you do not ask the person to host your anxiety. You are the quiet corner where they can find the ground. Tier 2, practicality. Handle immediate needs without drama. Safety first. Reduce variables. One clarifying question at a time. Not a barrage, just one. Do you want to sit or stand? Pause. Shall I call your sister? Pause. Water. Keep your voice low. Move simply. Put a chair behind unsteady knees. Open a window. Turn down a harsh light. Close a noisy door. If a call must be made, make it. If a ride is needed, arrange it. You are not staging a rescue spectacle. You are removing friction. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Practicality is not analysis. It is not forecasts or lectures. It is the next good step Then the next, you are trimming the thorns from the path so that feet can move again. Tier 3, silent realization. While the body is steady and the hands are useful, the heart is at its true work. Refuse to consent to fear's story. Drop the names and the blame. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it and turn to what is. Father, I acknowledge thy appearing as this one. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Harmony is, life is, love is, omnipresence is. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. You do not mouth these, you behold them. You do not perform prayer, you yield to presence. The inner word is as and the tense is is. That is your posture. That is your power. And it is quiet. Now watch how this prevents spiritual theater. There is no platform for your brilliance, no spotlight for your metaphysics. You are not delivering speeches. You are delivering steadiness and assistance. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. The showman is dismissed, the servant remains. The room feels it, the shoulders begin to lower. The breath finds rhythm. A sensible next step appears without debate. Fruitage tells you what your words cannot. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know you have stayed in the threefold order. A small picture. The call comes, come now. You enter. A friend is folded on the floor, eyes wide. Tier 1 presence. You kneel, palm open, voice low, I'm here, I will help you. You mirror a slower breath. Nothing else said. Tier 2 practicality, chair or floor. The choice returns a grain of control. You slide the chair behind, guide the sit, place cool water in the hand, dim the lamp, ask, do you want me to call anyone? One question, one action, stillness between. Tier 3, silent realization. Father, thou art the breath of this beloved. Peace is, life is. No opponent here. This is my beloved. The mind throws up pictures. You let them pass, you return to is. Within minutes, the room has changed temperament. Not because you delivered a discourse, but because you brought presence, you did the next kind thing, and you stood in truth without display. Do you follow that? Practice this rhythm until it becomes reflex. Presence that steadies, practicality that reduces chaos, silent realization that refuses a second power. This is not complicated. It is disciplined. In motion, it looks like kindness. In essence, it is holy. Keep the three together and you will move swiftly without hurry, effectively without noise, lovingly without possession. And the sign that you have been faithful will not be your memory of what you said, but the quiet in the room and the next right thing accomplished by your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? Now we come to the few words that serve and then step aside. Words are only auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. So we choose our speech as we would choose a single steadying beam in a storm. Not to build a house in an hour, but to keep the roof from lifting while the wind passes. The phrases are simple, human, exact. I'm here. I will help you. You're not alone. We will take the next step. Do you see the tone? It does not argue, it accompanies. It says, without flourish, you are not required to navigate this instant by yourself. That is all. That is enough. There are moments when the helper must set a boundary that still feels like a blanket, not a brush-off. Use phrases like these. Let's slow it down. Tell me what you need right now. We can breathe together, one thing at a time. I can stay a while. After that, we will arrange who sits next. These are not metaphysics poured on a wound. They are handrails on a stair. They give the body and mind something true to hold. They reduce isolation. They return the awareness to the present moment where realization can be felt. Take, therefore, no thought for the morrow. Bring the attention home to now, to the next right thing, and leave the landscape of catastrophe untraveled. Notice how each phrase does one job and then stops. That is discipline. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. Speak the yea, then yield the floor to silence. Silence is not the absence of help. Silence is the container in which help is registered. After you say, I'm here, stop. Count 3 breaths with him, quietly, eyes soft. After we can breathe together, actually breathe together and let the room hear the rhythm. After, tell me what you need. Right now, wait. Do not rush to fill the air because nerves itch. Be swift to hear, slow to speak. The soul can only drink from a still cup. I will give you a small scene so you can feel it. You arrive. The air is tight. You lower your voice. I'm here. I will help you. Stop. 2 breaths. Let's slow it down. Stop. You mirror a slower breath. Would you like water? Stop. You place the glass. We can breathe together. Silence returns, longer now, and in that quiet you turn within. Father, I acknowledge thy appearing as this one. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Harmony is, life is, love is. You do not mouth this, you behold it. In the outer, one phrase at a time, with space between. In the inner, the continuous knowing of as and is. Do you follow that? There are phrases that keep you from collapsing into the situation and phrases that keep you from preaching at it. I'm with you prevents abandonment. We will take the next step, prevents the mind from galloping into 10,000 steps. One thing at a time keeps the hour within human reach. I'll stay while you make the call. Translates companionship into a practical bridge. I will help you as the cornerstone because it communicates presence without conditions. None of these phrases require the other to wear your theology. They are soft shoulders for a tired hour. The hidden intention in every sentence is this: reduce isolation, restore present awareness, and create a small clearing where the presence can be felt. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Gathered together around a single calm breath, a single next step, a single merciful sentence. Then stop. Do not explain the sentence, live it. If the mind pushes you to decorate the moment with ideas, drop it. If the heart whimpers, say more so I will feel helpful, drop it. Say the one true thing and yield the rest to God. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and perform. Be still and know. Keep also a few phrases that invite self-report without interrogation. What would steady you right now? Do you want quiet or a call made? Chair or floor? These do not pry. They return agency to a shaken soul in love-like increments. And because you have learned the rhythm one sentence, then silence, the answers are not dragged out by force. They are given space to appear. Often, you will find that the shoulders lower with the first 2 or 3 exchanges, and the breath finds its own slow measure. Fruitage will tell you you are on the narrow way. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know if these words have served and then stepped aside. Anchor this in your practice. Before you enter a room, choose your 3 sentences and your long silence. Keep them ready as you would keep a clean cloth and water. I'm here, I will help you. We can breathe together. Then the hush. In that hush, hold to as and is. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it and behold only God appearing as this beloved and the isness of peace at hand. Outwardly, your language stabilizes and accompanies. Inwardly, silence does what speeches cannot. This is the way, do you see? Let us be very sober here. You cannot improvise realization under pressure if you have not practiced it in the ordinary hours. The mind that has been running hot all day cannot suddenly cool a room at midnight. The tongue that has been clever at lunch will not have authority at the bedside. Do you see? Presence is not a switch you flip, it is an atmosphere you carry. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. If abundance within is truth realized, then when the moment calls and you say, I will help you, it will not be bravado. It will be capacity. It will have weight because it has a root. So we prime the pump, not with long sessions we cannot keep, but with brief moments threaded through the day that turn the letter into breath. On waking, before you rise, 1 minute. Father, I acknowledge thy appearing as me. Harmony is. Life is. Love is. Not a project, a recognition. Let the first thought be isness, not the news or the list. Then at meals, stop long enough to know the food is emblem and the source is within. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Supply is, gratitude is. Let the bite be a sacrament that reminds the mind of one, not two. With money, when you receive, when you pay, prime the pump. Before the transfer of digits, acknowledge substance as spirit. All that the Father hath is mine, not because I have earned a wage, but because I live in the one. In him we live and move and have our being. Do you follow that? The figures change, but isness does not. You are not trying to make supply be. You are relaxing into the awareness that supply is. And before sleep, lay the day in God. Not a review of failures or triumphs, a return to as and is. God appearing as the men and women you met, God appearing as you, peace is. Then release the body to rest within that knowing. At the doorway, 1 step more. Each threshold can become a small altar. Before you enter a room, before you answer a call, before you send the message, a half-breath turned inward. Father, thou art here. This is my beloved son, my beloved daughter is. You will find that these small obediences accumulate. The pump no longer needs much priming. The water rises of itself. What begins as the letter spoken truth, deliberate knowing ripens into spirit, truth imparted, not declared. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. At first you say what is true. Then more and more you hear what is true. My sheep hear my voice. Your major activity becomes receptivity. You become the listening place where God tells you God. Do not despise the day of small faithfulness. 10 seconds here, 1 minute there, and a life forms, a consciousness shaped to the Christly rhythm. The nervous impulse to speak begins to burn itself out in the morning practice, and by nightfall you have learned the sound of your own quiet. Then, when the crisis comes, you do not go hunting for God, you do not rummage for phrases, you stand in what you have been standing in all day. Be still and know that I am God is no longer an assignment. It is your state. This is the movement from letter to spirit. The letter is necessary to begin. Prime the pump. Consciously know harmony is, life is, love is, omnipresence is. Drop the names and the narratives and return again and again to isness. Then, as habit becomes humility, you will notice you are saying less and hearing more. A word rises in you that is not yours, and it settles the hour. You will recognize it by the fruitage. If the room quiets, if the next right step appears without strain, if peace descends where agitation was, then you know spirit has taken the lead. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know you are not in an emotional jag, but in realization. Train for the hour you cannot plan by caring for the hours you can. Keep the inner air clear through the day, and when you say, I will help you, it will carry the climate of God. You will not lean on volume. You will lean on presence. You will not perform. You will bear witness. And your witness will have substance because it was formed quietly in the corridors of ordinary minutes where you practiced as and is until the words fell away and the word remained. Do you see? Now let us place one sentence at the very center of our seeing, not as something to recite at people, but as the inner recognition that guides the eye. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear it as a present word, not an old echo. Do not make it a decoration for a crisis. Make it the lens by which you look. You are not applying a verse. You are consenting to vision. Do you see? When that word rises within you, it is the Father's own assessment heard again in this instant. Beloved, pleasing, of me and as me, not someday when improved. Now, this is the A.S. principle in its purest form. God the invisible appears as Son the visible. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father, not because flesh turns into deity, but because identity is one God appearing as individual being. I and the Father are one. Therefore, the one before you, trembling, disheveled, angry, undone, is not a separated self, dragging itself toward God. The source is not absent, waiting to be summoned. The source is the very life at hand, the I that is I. To behold, this is my beloved Son, is to acknowledge in silence God as the life of this one. It cuts the root of two-ness. It ends the drama of a distant God and a fallen patient. It returns us to is, watch what this recognition does to the nervous impulse to diagnose or to condemn. When you behold belovedness, you stop rummaging through their history to assign deserving or guilt. When you behold sonship, you stop arguing with symptoms as if they had law. When you behold God appearing as, you stop fearing, for omnipresence leaves no room for a rival. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is this beholding, not a verdict on a person, but a vision of the one as this person in that atmosphere. The other does not feel managed. The other feels met. Isolation loosens, the shoulders lower almost by themselves. The next sensible step shows its face. Fruitage begins. I sat once in a hallway that smelled of antiseptic and thundered with rolling carts. A son had been called from work to meet his mother's crisis and had arrived with fists clenched against the wall. The scene shouted for a speech. Instead, I'm here. I will help you. Then inwardly and immediately, Father, thou art the life here. This is thy beloved daughter, in whom thou art well pleased. Not a person plus a condition, God appearing as, outwardly a chair, a cup of water, a call to the nurse, unhurried. Inwardly, the refrain without effort. Life is, love is, omnipresence is. Within minutes, fists open to palms, the jaw unclenched. Tears changed temperature from panic to relief. A doctor appeared just then. The necessary tests moved without snags. Was that my cleverness? No. By your life experience, by the fruitage. You know when love has replaced two-ness and order has answered. Make this your habit at every threshold. Before you speak, before you enter, turn within and let the eye be washed. Father, let me see thy appearing as this one. This is my beloved Son. This is my beloved daughter. Do not say it to them. Say it within until it says itself. You are not bandaging them with verses. You are removing the blindfold from your own sight. Do you see what happens when you look past the appearance and acknowledge the Christ of God? The room changes climate. Blame cannot breathe there. Fear has no corner to hide. The human voice drops a key and becomes kind. The next good action becomes obvious. Identity sight is not flattery, and it is not denial of facts. It is truth about being. Beloved, now are we the sons of God. Now. Not after the diagnosis clears, not after the apology, not after the storm. Now, to behold that now is to participate in its unveiling. You will notice that your mind has less appetite for cataloging symptoms. You will find yourself less tempted to decorate the hour with doctrines. You will stand by and serve because you have seen enough to trust, and the other will know it without your telling. Something in them will hear, "Thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine." And they will borrow your quiet until their own is remembered. Keep the two words at the root of this vision. As, God appearing as the present fact of harmony. Let "this is my beloved Son" be the bridge between as and is, the announcement of identity that makes present peace credible. Then, say the least, I will help you do the next human kindness, and let the sight do its work. You will not need to convince, you will need only to behold. And by your life experience, by the fruitage, the softened face, the guided breath, the right door opening, you will know that seeing has ministered more than speech could. Do you follow that? Now we must be very honest with ourselves. Having learned to see, having spoken the least and realized much, how do we know we are helping and not indulging a lovely emotion? By their fruits ye shall know them, not by your inner thrills, not by eloquent phrases, not by the warmth that runs down the spine. Fruitage is not your feeling of spirituality. Fruitage is the easing of fear. Fruitage is the return of clarity. Fruitage is the right human step identified and taken. Fruitage is breath that steadies, pain that quiets, sleep that comes, order that appears. A tree is known by its fruit. Do you see? Let us make it practical. If, in the wake of your presence and your silent realization, the shoulders lower, the eyes focus, one sensible step presents itself and is acted upon, there is evidence of realized presence. If the phone call that had to be made is made, if the apology that had to be offered is offered, if the body releases its alarm long enough for nourishment or rest, if resources gather in right human ways as well, then you are not guessing, you are beholding is. And is answering. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. Peace is the signature. Order is the footprint. It will be felt, and something measurable will shift. If, on the other hand, your language grows ornate, your emotions mount, tears flow like a performance, and after you depart, the room is as tight as when you entered, be very humble. You may have had an emotional jag. You may have consoled yourself with spiritual sensation while leaving the other with their burden. That does not make you bad. It makes you human, but it does not help. Do you follow that? Our work is not to feel much. Our work is to realize what is and to let fruitage verify it. I remember an hour when a student and I prayed ourselves into exhaustion. We spoke beautifully, we cried, we quoted. By morning, nothing had changed. That failure helped me. I saw that I had tried to carry the scene with words and feeling. The next day I returned to the simplicity of as and is. I will help you. Then silence. Father, thy appearing is this one. This is my beloved. Life is. Love is. Outwardly, a small breakfast. A single call to arrange what was needed. Within hours sleep came, a fever lowered, a practical door opened. Was that because I felt more? No. It was because I interfered less. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know when presence has been allowed to be presence. Use the conditional law for yourself without cruelty. If the problems that come to you are quickly and easily being solved, If harmony is tending to reassert itself in your circle, quiet reconciliations, timely provision, lessening of panic, right care found without maze, there is no question that you are living nearer to realized is. If they are not, do not condemn, do not analyze the person or the condition. Return to practice. Prime the pump again. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it and re-enter the inner knowing. God appearing as peace is. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith. Where Spirit is truly at work, these fruits show up as temper of room and texture of day. Keep a quiet ledger, not of speeches given, but of climate changed. Ask yourself plainly after an encounter, did fear lessen? Did a wise next step present itself? Did the body receive rest? Did confusion yield to order? If yes, give thanks and move on, taking no pride. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. If no, do not dramatize your lack. Be still and begin again. Practice more often in the small hours. Listen more than you declare. Let "this is my beloved Son" wash the eye until you can behold it without effort. Then when you say, "I will help you," help will be more than a promise. It will be an event. This is sobriety. This protects you from self-deception and protects the suffering from your performance. Few words, deep realization, and a willingness to let outcomes, not emotions, tell the truth. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know you are not on an emotional jag, but in God. Do you see? We have traveled a simple road, but it is not an easy one. We began by refusing to heap words on a breaking hour because words, when they preach, become a burden. Then we found the one sentence that carries weight: I will help you. That is your yea. That is your standing by. From there, we learn to stand by in consciousness, not as a rescuer performing, but as a witness consenting. We were given two words that govern all true help, A-S and I-S. God appearing as individual being. Harmony is, life is, love is. We stripped the mask from error and refused it, person, place, or law. This is only the arm of flesh, a hypnotic suggestion, not a power. We worked a threefold method: presence, practicality, silent realization. We trained daily from letter to spirit so that help would not be an act but an atmosphere. And we measured by fruitage, by your life experience, not by your feelings. Do you see the line of march? Now hear me kindly but firmly. This is not a lazy person's work. You cannot borrow this consciousness from a book at midnight. You cannot cram serenity. You do not counterfeit fruitage with flushed cheeks or beautiful phrases. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. If you would be quick in the crisis, be faithful in the quiet. Prime the pump at waking and at doorways. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. Let your inner refrain be steady. Father, I acknowledge thy appearing as this one. This is my beloved Son. I and the Father are one. In him we live and move and have our being. Then, when the call comes, you are not trying to remember truth. You are standing in it. Take this as your final inner directive for the next crisis. Say the least. I'm here. I will help you. Then do what is needed without flourish. Chair behind the knees. A call made. A glass of water. One question at a time. All the while, return and return to the realization of omnipresence, A-S and I-S. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it and behold only God, the invisible, appearing as Son, the visible. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and preach. Be still and know. And then watch for fruitage, not for thrills. Shoulders lowering. Breath-finding rhythm. A wise step emerging and taken. By their fruits ye shall know them. If the fruit appears, give thanks and disappear from the story. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. If not, do not dramatize. Return to practice and listen deeper. Do you follow that? Keep yourself honest with a quiet ledger. Not speeches given, climates changed. If peace increases and order answers, there is no question that presence has been allowed to be presence. If not, drop the self-criticism as you have dropped the condition and begin again. This way is simple, it is austere, it is holy. Few words, deep realization, a life that shows fruitage. And so, let us go from this room with gratitude, not for a philosophy admired, but for an opportunity to serve. Thank you, Father, for the privilege of standing by thy appearing, for eyes trained to see, this is my beloved Son, for the strength to say little and know much. Our vow is not to talk better, it is to realize better today, in small minutes, and in the hour that calls. Let our proof be quiet rooms, right next steps, reconciled hearts. By our life experience, by the fruitage, let it be known that we have been with thee. Thank you.